Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Booty Radio F1 Team, My Team Career Mode. And in spite or best wishes and hopes, as you can see on the computer here, we are in for another weekend with rain impacting one of the important sessions. It feels like it just never stops. It's just rain, 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 over and over, which is killing me. I would love for a straight, dry weekend. And it feels like it's been forever. Getting in the message, you can see they're actually giving us a little bit of an update on development. So we are still kind of that best of the rest. Good amount of developments came through for Canada. So we have made some progress. But you can see the rain, very much like the expected weather for Canada was, where it was dry and cloudy early on and then a little block of rain at the end. So we'll see if that informs our strategy. Time to get some of the fresher power unit components on. We are starting to wear out our second ICE, so we're on our third internal combustion engine, just at about a little before the halfway point of the season, so we might actually need yet another one before the end. Of course, as usual, we'll take a look and see. We did secure that P9 finish. Unfortunately, Joshua with another DNF breaks his point scoring streak. I believe, if I remember correctly from the last episode, we have set Joshua up with a bunch of new engine components, so he will likely be starting at the back of this week's race. So we'll see if he's able to catch on up. But let's get into at least qualifying, which is dry, and then we'll head to the race.
High up in the mountains here at Spielberg, it's time for qualifying on what will be the fastest laps of the season. Stand by for qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix.
All right. We are a couple of minutes off sequence from usual. We had an electrical fault that delayed our start, so we may have to contend with a little bit of traffic on this. Luckily, it's a short lap, so we're able to make up that time pretty quickly, but my goodness, does it look like it's going to be something quick in order to get near the top of qualifying. Short track, only 10 corners, a little bit wide on turn one there. Trying to open the entry up as much as we can. Realistically, only a couple hard braking zones, this being one of them. And then turn 4 is the last real hard braking zone down at the bottom of this hill. Get the car rotated. Try and get on power as early as we can. Now time to work through the middle part of the lap here. Quick sweepers. Oh, camber doesn't really help you all that much on the first left-hander. And little touch of the curb, had to make a correction to keep the back end from sliding. And now last two corners. Very quick couple of right-handers. Let's get out of the corner. We should be in the 103, so not a bad first lap to start it. So a provisional P8 after our first runs is a decent start to the session. Let's see, there's definitely some time to be found in a few of the corners, turn 1 especially. Let's see we can't shore up a little bit more time before we get our last run on the fresh tires done. Overslowed. We do get a little better exit, but we were a little slow on the apex. You're going to find quite a bit of time, though, because of just how good that exit was. Pretty even Stevens through turn 3. Now down to turn 4. Use a little more track on the exit. I don't know that that necessarily helped, because while we didn't necessarily get up to speed as quickly, we ran a little bit, or we got up to speed a little quicker, we ran a little wider. Much better run through the left-hander, so we're finding about 3/10 now. Just need to keep it clean through the final two corners. attack and take a little more apex on the second apex. And there we go, 103.224 gains us a spot in the timings. Still a little bit of time in it if we can really nail the final run. All right, here we go, getting ready for the last run of qualifying. Considering where the time is kind of left, I wouldn't be shocked if I invalidate a lap. So let's get after it. Turn 1, we overbraked a bit, so I think we can make up a little time if we're a little stronger on the apex. A little quicker on the apex, but a little slower on the exit. I think it's going to kind of balance out just by the end there. Bit of a lockup on the way into turn 3. We did get the car rotated. Pushed down to P8 already. Not the best run through turn 4. Did find a little bit of time. 2 more corners to make it stick. Good run through the last corners. We're going to find almost 4/10. That's a P6. I think it's one of our better qualifying positions outside of Monaco.
Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Pretty solid into the 102s for a P6 start. Joshua down in the 104.5s. The 3 DRS zones being kind of bang, bang, bang. There's an opportunity to keep with the lead group, at least while it's dry. So let's see what the weather report truly looks like when we get on the grid.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Senna, Piastri, Charles Leclerc and Martins, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Russell and Carlos Sainz, Albon, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly and Hülkenberg, Ocon, Stroll, Isaac Hadjar and Ollie Behrman, Bortoletto, Doohan, Lawson and Joshua Pearce rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Okay, Mark here. Let's get another points finish today. I just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you.
Okay, what is the strategy here? I think what we go for is essentially what we should have done in Canada. We just run the hard tire. We'll see what we see. We'll run the hard tire for as long as we dare. Hope it gets us to the rain. If the rain comes late, we may still have to make that pit stop. But we'll have to just kind of play it by ear, and that's how it's going to go. All right, so here we are on the hard tires. Everybody around us on the medium, so it's going to be a tricky opening. Decent run through turn 1 there, able to fend off Sonoda. Verstappen's getting a run. We're going to go defensive to the inside because everybody's very slow on the apex of turn 3 on the first lap. We'll get to the apex first, allow us to track out, cover Verstappen off a little bit of wheel spin as we get on the overtake button. But now it's going to be very important that we stick with this group over the rest of the lap here. DRS is going to be crucial, otherwise we're going to be in a lot of trouble to the Red Bulls behind us, and we'll probably be headed straight for that P9, P10 range. 1 track limit already is not a great start. But we should just about hold in the DRS for that first run. Ooh, 2 track limit warnings already. Gonna have to be very careful the rest of this race. And gosh, look at the straight line speed they've got. That was with DRS, with overtake. I think it's going to be a rough day for us in terms of straight line speed. In fact, we've already lost DRS to the cars ahead. Not going to fight that one that hard. No real reason to. Yeah, I think we're going to tumble back behind these top teams pretty quickly here. Especially with how careful I'm going to have to be on track limits for the rest of this race already. On the outside. Not impossible to run with them. It's just real hard. Weather report.
We think we might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
15-ish minutes to rain according to race engineer. Just can't compete with the faster cars. Not only are they lightning quick in a straight line, through this crucial couple of corners, they're also a bit quicker than me too. I think I might just about hold on to DRS this time. Which is good, but definitely going to be a challenge in this race. Verstappen looking up the inside. We're going to go a long way around. We will successfully hold him off for now. but having to take that defense into turn 3 meant that we are going to lose DRS to the car ahead, most likely. Ooh. Got very close on the apex of turn 10, but we just managed to hold DRS because of it. Tires already starting to wear out a fair bit. Surely has nothing to do with constantly putting the rear tires under significant pressure to try and accelerate off the corners the same way that these guys do. Surely there's nothing to do with that. Another lap, another close call with DRS, it looks like. Starting to settle in. We might hit a spot fairly soon where the hard tire actually becomes the quicker of the two tires, or at least competitive. It is a little crazy that he just put 4/10 on me while I had DRS. Of course, right as I'm saying maybe the hard tires are getting there, I'm starting to punish my hard tires. Don't you stick your nose up there, it's not a good spot. Bought myself one more lap, I think, by kind of chopping the nose there. All in all, we're probably going to slip to 9th over the course of this race. But the idea is we can get some good distance from the cars that are kind of more in our competitive range. The more laps we can stick with these lead cars. Do have 2.4 seconds to Yuki, although I estimate that gap will start closing up fairly quickly once I lose this DRS from Verstappen. Let's just follow Verstappen in. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's open up that diff, get a little more front brake bias. Bad stop, come on, get that tire off. Cost us some time. Carlos Sainz out of the session. Is that going to be a safety car? DRS now disabled. Give you an idea of how much that stop hurt.
Joshua's coming in for his stop.
I was about 5 seconds up on Antonelli at the start of the pit stop phase. And now it's 1. So now it's all about survival. These tires should make it to the end. Without too much fuss. The important things really are going to be, can I hold off the cars behind? And can I avoid picking up another track limits penalty? There's one more track limits violation, and that is 3-second penalty, which could be a real big pain. Already under attack. Hold the outside line. I think that might be the high ground for turn 3. I guess, yeah, it does allow us to get that better exit. But we need to make sure that we get enough of an exit out of turn 1. Especially as the track continues to deteriorate. Rain is coming down harder. The mid-straightaway hop that they get is insane. I'm going to be in trouble this time down to turn 3. He's got the overspeed. He's going for the inside again. Again, we'll go around the outside. We'll get the exit we need. Going to be a lot of that before the end of this race. What happened to Joshua? He's just ahead of me on track, which means he's a lap down. Come on, Joshua. What are you doing? Why are you fighting this? Well, it buys me a little bit of breathing space. Very awkward run for all of us. Trying to get around the blue flag car of Joshua. In fact, that allowed Leclerc and Senna to both jump Antonelli in the ensuing chaos. Looks like Antonelli's gotten back ahead. I have no doubt they will arrive on my gearbox very shortly, though. 10 laps left to go in this one. Weather report.
These conditions don't look like they're shifting. We're predicting at least 20 minutes of heavy rainfall. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
Spin in the background. Is that Antonelli around? Local yellows. I think a big crash has been avoided at least. So he's got going again. No safety car. And now we got Leclerc breathing down our gearbox. Also, fun note, I actually used a flashback right there because when that incident first happened, it called a safety car, and as I was slowing down to match the delta, we got a similar bug that we saw in Canada. Leclerc passed me and then was able to keep his position. So I rewinded it just to keep my position, and this time apparently there was less of a pileup. So, you know, the odds and ends of what happens in the career mode. Meanwhile, I'm here racing with Leclerc. Kind of hand and fist here. I think the rain is actually slightly easing up. We are starting to see kind of that lighter gray line begin to form again. And it does feel like there's a little bit more grip. Leclerc is really going to send one here. Okay, he backs out in us before getting the attack. Maybe we need to focus on defending that and not trusting, because if he gets up the inside, not only is it a good opportunity for him to just get the overtake done, but it also puts me at risk of having to go off track to avoid a collision. So maybe I focus on holding the inside line there a little bit more. We are creeping up towards the next batch of lap down vehicles though, so. Woo. Managed to hold on, but some big wheel spin coming out of turn 3 there this time. Let's try and do some battery recovery in the middle of the lap here for our last lap. Definitely going to have to defend the inside this time. We are able to slot in, get to the apex first, run it just right out to the outside edge. One important defense done. Realistically, we got about 2 more to handle. Turn 3 is going to be the big one as we're starting the last lap here. We've got just about the fuel that we need to get to the end, I think. Lando Norris picks up the race victory. We get out of turn 3 ahead. Let's do just a little lift and coast here. Try and just make sure the fuel doesn't run out on the crucial run to the line. That should be just enough. Tricky little sweepers. This exit is going to be key to not let him attack. Go to the defensive line. had a thought about the up and under, but he wasn't able to quite get alongside enough to go for that dive. We do manage to just hold on to a P4 finish.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Whew. That was a sweaty one. And we managed to move forward a couple of spots.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. He raises the trophy over his head. Lando Norris, head and shoulders above the rest today. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
As much as I bemoan having to run so many rainy races in a row, it does give us the opportunity to gamble on strategy. And you can see everybody that's behind me essentially went for that 2-stop, except for Yuki. Our pace was not the same as the rest, and being able to go long on those hard tires at the start to get all the way to the rain without stopping is what the other podium sitters got. We're one well-timed retirement away from potentially getting on the podium. Joshua, I think, well, let me go back up. Joshua, I think, he took an extra stop. Yeah, 3 stops. Last man running, unfortunately, 2 laps down. Just never had the real pace today. I wasn't expecting much from him because of the engine penalty. He'd gotten himself up into 16th in the dry, but it looks like he had to take an extra stop. I'll check the race director to see if he had any damage that had to get repaired. But we are starting to creep up, just 20 points back of Yuki Tsunoda in the drivers, and that is putting us quite securely ahead of the rest of this group. We are scooping up pretty much all of those remaining points week in and week out, which really helps. But you can see already the gap that exists. We're 11 races in, and the top 4 teams all over 200 points. Nobody else over 60 yet. So a bit of a long one in for us for this season. Let me check the race director and see. Pit stops. Joshua went medium to hard, as we kind of expected. Then he went, where did he go? One lap. 16 from hard to inter. And he had to take that extra stop. Oh, he gambled for the wets. Okay, so that's why he took 3. But he was already pretty much out of contention. Well, let's head back to HQ.
Another day, another milestone. Good job.
Personnel facility, what do we got? Ooh, okay, reached personnel phase 4, so workforce hire rate increase, that's very nice. Paul Aaron, some talks, let's see what he's looking like. Unless we have a similar kind of drop in expectations that we did with Joshua last year, I think we may not be re-signing him. Paul Aaron, well within our budget to get signed, so we'll continue to progress his talks. Then we're also looking at, I want to say Franco Colapinto. It was literally like 2 days ago that I looked at this, but apparently I've forgotten already. Performance comparison, we are starting to get clear of the rest, but still quite a lot to jump. Fan sentiment dropped because of qualifying performance, and I think it doesn't know to think about grid penalties as part of that. Nothing to upgrade there. We do have in progress research going on in chassis. Durability, we have completed some, so that gives us the ability to start up some new durability research. I think we've got enough open slots to, get all of those underway, which is wonderful. Development-wise, everything's in process there. Upgrades are complete there, so now let's get our let's get the fuel injection system going for both cars, dual development. And we can start doing the developments on some of these durability portions, which are certainly going to help us avoid the grid penalties. Progress history. Everybody kind of went up a little bit. We had a modest gain on our part of the garage. Mercedes starting to open up the gap, though, at the performance charts, though, and Red Bull lagging behind those top 3 teams now. Okay. Improved phase in the workforce or personnel space. But we still have quite a few phase 2 upgrades to get going. So yeah, let's get some driver stat bonuses. And we can get secondary sponsor team expansion as well. We're getting close to finishing off phase 2 for corporate and engineering personnel. We still have quite a ways to go in that one. Yep. Those are all good and great. Take a look at the finances, make sure we're doing okay there. 78 million the outgoing total, and we have spent quite a bit recently, so we may need to slow down our spending just to make sure we don't run up against the cap. Last thing I wanted to check, where'd it go? Drivers. So yeah, Franco Colapinto, we're early on in talks with him. Contract window is still 63 days away, so plenty of time to go there. Let's, no activities. We're only going to be able to do the one, so let's do, as always, fan rating. Let's keep that fan rating moving up. Opens up those sponsor slots and makes us money.
Hey, Chief. We've got multiple parts out of research. Don't forget to develop them. We've got performance sitting on the table that we could be getting into the car.
Okay. Well, as much as I've not enjoyed the rain, we are headed to the British Grand Prix next, which always has a pretty high chance of rain. So we'll cross our fingers and find out if we will indeed be driving in the wet. But as always, getting to the halfway point of Season 2. Thank you all for joining me. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.